How can a people move to a governance system and design process that is subversively conversational?
Enter ethics, morals, manners. After the discussions we had about various subject matter and in various contexts, what pops up again and again are these notions of power, violence, and what we can consider disturbances of the social comfort. Events, comfortable or not, among other things, are also messages. And to beat on the messenger is only one technique. The other technique is to decipher the message. Very often, the messenger is not responsible for the message, even though the messenger is responsible for delivering the message. So, a person who commits violence remains a person who commits violence. It is our task to take it apart into two things. The messenger committed violence in order to deliver the message, but the message should be deciphered because it may not be violent. It may give us an idea of how to get messengers that can deliver without violence. The justice system of our world is needed as a minimal protection against the powers and against itself. It is not capable to disseminate justice among people. Unfortunately, justice among people remains the privilege of neighbors. So, what I learned here and what I anticipated and what I have now confirmed and very pleased is the following, that I found out that there is a kind of understanding or wish around that power be less. That means if you always fight for having the power instead of somebody else, swapping it, I want your power, you had it long enough, or the conquest of power. If that can be done so that at every time the conquest is made there is less power in the world, then it might make sense. So the slowly muting if power could become an endangered animal, which slowly will go into extinction, then we have understood what we have to do. We do not want a different distribution of power, we want less power. The next step which is needed for that is that the phenomenon in which we live, that if you make use of your freedom, you lose half of it. Every time you make a choice among your privileges, two other privileges are suddenly closed for you from then on. You can investigate that. The examples are thousands. Every case study shows that every choice that makes use of your freedom is punished by some loss of freedom somewhere else in the system. That should be changed. We have to have the possibility, by decreasing power, increasing the preservation of alternatives, if not even the increase of alternatives. I consider these two tasks as criteria by which I can make an ethical decision of my conduct in society. I say. I don't know whether I'll be lynched after 5 minutes, whether I can survive such a decision. I would like it to be the subject of thinking and become nominated as one important criterion in decision-taking. In my decision-taking, it is important criterion. I consulted. I want to decrease power. I want to increase the number of alternatives.
Do you have a definition of power, or has that been discussed already?
It has been discussed, and it is also used as a buzzword. Simply that is of which you cannot liberate yourself without violence.
It
And-
implies violence?
Yes. Power also, there was some talk the other day about victim. A victim is a person who cannot liberate, get liberty without using violence.
Mm.
I don't think it's possible or even desirable to think that one could get rid of power at all.
I know.
I think that one needs to realize how power is working in any given situation and use it for positive ends instead of negative ends.
Bring it about. I'm not objecting to bring it about. I tell you what you will land with finally. You can do that by decreasing power. No place did I say no power.
No, I didn't hear that.
That's also when I say retardation of decay, I do not say stop the decay. These little nuances are given to us by sheer dint of the richness of a language which wants to be used, and I use it ruthlessly. I want to decrease power so that the hierarchies that I can make with the remainders of power are floating. And I would like to increase the number of alternatives so that the consciousness of freedom become less dramatic and more lyrical. Or as Patch has it, be a joy to live. And we have conflicts at the moment. Even this Patch there is an example. I will slander you now with your liberty, but I can slander Dr. Nancy Wilson just as well. These are people who have the ability to master their life in certain ways quite successfully, and the consequence is that half of the desires remain unfulfilled. And you can't prove them wrong, nor do they prove themselves wrong. There is nothing wrong, but it is a decrease of freedom. And we can shake hands and work on it together, how to make that not so. We don't have to console anybody. We don't have to make family therapy. We simply have to understand what is the missing algorithm in our society that is needed so that choosing alternatives, making what you like now, not foul up what you would like tomorrow. Sorry, that's the word for Sunday. I mean, I'm quite aware. I call it ethics, and that's not quite arbitrary. I do it together with some friends I have who also are trying to come to grips with the term ethics. Maturana, von Förster, Glasersfield, Pask did for a long time quite passionately. So it is a subject of some hanging perseverance, and it seems it's difficult because these were all people who were not doubting that something can be done. They only were sure that they don't know yet what. These are people I like to work with. They don't doubt that it can be done. They know it can be done, must be, but they don't know yet how. So you can discuss with them not what is the case, but what is not the case, which is much more interesting. Ethics, I have put at the top, so to speak, it's the roof or the main nest, whichever you wish, under which all other criterion take second place. Morals and manners, decision-taking, logic, reasonability, rational, all this takes second place, so that my most important selfish interests are safely nested in a nest which is my secondary interest but larger. So if my decision-taking is, in this sense, ethically defensible or correct or accurate or alert, then I can fail in the composition of a piece. I may not raise the funds I wanted to raise. I gave the wrong speech. I can make a mistake somewhere. But I made my mistakes in the nest of ethical behavior. And the nest of ethical behavior is what we don't have any longer. So in this nest of ethical behavior, we have some other clubs of criteria, which we visit on Sundays or Thursdays. Thursday is cleaning day, right?
Friday night.
Friday night, yes, Friday night, right. And they have to do with what is called morals, which are laws that have not been written. we treat them as if they were laws, and when we look for where they have not been written. They are storytelling and kind of parables and metaphors and all kinds of example stories. The whole Bible is one big book of stories about what might be moral or is not moral, mainly not moral. It is really a scandal sheet if you read it carefully. It is the National Enquirer. It invented stories in order to show the depravity of the human nature and the pleasure in buying it in the morning.
Could you distinguish morals and ethics?
Morals is nested in ethics, and the morals you adopt for yourself are dictated by your ethics or not. Since morals are free for choice, hypocrisy is one of the morals. So for instance, if you find a set of morals inside and then I call your bluff, but that's unethical. You say, I don't care. I mean, this is...
So what is ethics and what is moral?
Ethics is not your choice. Ethics is something you have to do, and morals is something you decide to obey or not. It is the neighborhood syndrome.